Here comes Steve Fisher to join us after just an incredible first weekend of the tournament and March Madness. And even though San Diego State's trip in there was pretty quick, I feel like everybody still felt pretty good about it. Steve, what was your reaction to that game, the Mountain West run, and then the effort that they put forth against Houston last week?
Well, it was something that made every Aztec fan proud, and coaches, to do what our team did, win 9 in a row and win the Mountain West Conference tournament. Coach Dutcher made a good point saying we had one and done for the last 4 or 5 games that we played, and we delivered. And I was at the conference tournament. I was at Wichita and watched us play against Houston, and it was a game where people said, well, they're out of it. 10 first-half turnovers, 12, 13 points behind, and we came back, and Trey had a shot to win the game for us. So it was disappointing that we didn't go on to play that second round, but I was so proud of the effort that everybody gave.
You know, Coach, as you know, yesterday rolled on, and we're doing sort of our wrap coming out of a weekend of more college hoops. The news breaks that Jalen McDaniels is declaring eligible for the NBA draft, and it sort of scratched the record to a stop. I don't think any of us expected that. Did you see this coming? Did the staff see this coming, and what was the initial reaction?
You know, in today's world, it was something that if I'm a dad or a mom, I'm saying this is what we're going to do. 2 or 3 years ago, they changed the rule to where it made it more user-friendly to the players. Now you have until April 22nd to put your name into the draft. But all that means is that you're putting it to test the waters for guys like Jalen. You have until June the 11th to pull it out. What Coach Dutcher will do would be what I've done, and I've done it for a long time, but now it's even better for the players. He will get an evaluation from NBA clubs. They won't put it in writing, but he'll get an evaluation saying, we think Jalen McDaniels is a first-round draft pick, a top 10 pick. They'll do all that, or a non-draftable player, and they will give that to you verbally. It's crazy, but these are NBA general managers, coaches, scouts. These are people that know more than the internet guys. Then Jalen will have the opportunity to go and have individual workouts, which I think will be great for him. He probably will, I would guesstimate, 3 to 6, whether he goes with the Lakers, the Clippers. You know, he'll go to NBA clubs with 2 to 4 players, and they'll work him out. Then they will give him an evaluation and say, we think you're really good here, but we think you really need to work here. He'll have a better feeling for where he stands in every regard at the end of the day on that. In all probability, Jalen is going to come back. But if all of a sudden they say, we think this kid is incredible, then, you know, if he's a first-round draft pick, he would have a decision to make. If he's a lottery pick, there's no decision to make. But I think he's doing the right thing. But I don't think any of us need to fret. In all probability, Jalen McDaniels will be back with San Diego State next year.
Steve, what's your professional opinion just based on watching where he is right now? Do you think he's NBA ready?
Well, do I think a lot of these first-year players that will be drafted really high are NBA ready to play? No. But you close your eyes and draft on potential. You say, what will he be like in 2 or 3 years? Do we have the luxury to wait, play him in the G League, bring him up or down? Jalen McDaniels, I do believe, has NBA talent. Obviously, he weighs 190 pounds. He needs to get stronger. His skill level needs to continue to grow, but he has some things you can't teach. He's got a nose for the ball. He's 6'10" with long arms. He's very, very quick off his feet. He can shoot the ball to 15 feet. So most of these kids who are coming out after their freshman year that get drafted are not NBA ready, quote.
Former Aztecs head coach Steve Fisher joining us on the Mark and Rich Show. You know, Nevada's making a deep run here in the tournament. Sweet 16 bound. Eric Musselman, the head coach of the team, in a sideline interview, was shouting into the microphone, went into the locker room post-game, tore his shirt off, was dancing with the players. I get a vibe of professionalism when we speak with head coach Brian Dutcher. I always felt that speaking with you. What is your thought process on coaching? Do you think it's maybe doing too much to get that heavily involved in the celebration of the event? Does it send the wrong message to the team?
I will say this. Eric Musselman has done a fantastic job in Nevada. He has a style and a way that he does things. 2 years ago, when he first got there, they went to the tournament that University of San Diego was in and won it. CIT, CTI, whatever it is. And after that game, he took his shirt off. He's got no shirt on, and he's running around the gym. Would I do that? No. Did he do it? His fans loved it. And obviously he did it again after the championship, after they won the Cincinnati game. I also heard when they went in the locker room after they beat Texas, I think it was, in their first win, and they needed a mic to delete some of the things he was screaming when he ran into the locker room. So, I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from what he's done. He can coach, and he has done a fantastic job with that team.
Steve Fisher is joining us, Mark and Rich. Coach, I'm sitting around at the house a few days ago, and I happened upon the Fab Five documentary. And I've seen it 100 times, but I love it so much I watch it again. And then I was thinking, as the college basketball tournament starts, whether it's the one and done thing or whether it's just the fact that everybody's so interested in their bracket, I referred to your team back there at Michigan as the last iconic college basketball team, where there was a season that started and we already knew all of the characters. How is there a way we could get back to that in some sort of a way so that a college basketball team or teams could really be a wildly interesting thing at the start of a college basketball season?
In that time frame, this was 1991 when they came in as freshmen. Kids were not leaving after their freshman year. So what Calipari is saying now and lamenting the fact, and I called him and left him a voicemail when he made the statement, we're the youngest team in the history of college basketball. And I reminded him that we started 5 freshmen in 1992 in the national championship game, and then also 5 sophomores in 93. Nobody was leaving that early. So for 5 freshmen to start and play it couldn't happen, and if it happened, you couldn't win. Today, it happens with more commonplace. There are a lot more teams with multiple freshmen starting and playing. But we're not gonna have that familiarity unless you are a junkie and you know these kids from AAU circuit when they're 15 years old and when they come in as freshmen. They're all going to say, "What can I do to get? Do I have a chance to play in the NBA and win?" They're all doing that, and I do think that when the NCAA releases their recommendations, they have a committee, blue ribbon committee. They will probably confer with the NBA and make some changes. And one change that I'm strongly in favor of, which will maybe help, but is don't restrict. If a kid's good enough, if there's another LeBron James, let him come out of high school and go to the NBA. So I think that's going to happen. I think that the NBA will have a minor league system a little bit more like the baseball does, and pay the players a little bit more to where they can go there and as you say, get themselves NBA ready for the major league, in the minor leagues, in the G League. I think that will help. But in terms of name recognition, you better be there in a hurry because the best ones are going to leave after their freshman year.
Great stuff. Steve Fisher joining us. Last one for me, Coach. This is the first time. Look, as you get older, you don't get a lot of first times, but this was your first basketball season watching your former team instead of coaching them. How did that feel for you personally? How good of a job do you think head coach Brian Dutcher did?
Coach Dutcher did, I thought, a great job. And when all is well, you just kind of step back out of the way and let the players get all the credit and recognition. When things happen, like we're 13-10, 2 straight 20-point blowouts on the road, and people are screaming for everybody's head, you need a steady hand at the wheel and somebody that's not going to jerk and steer the car off the road. And I think that's what Coach Dutcher did a masterful job of, having a calming influence, having a positive influence, and a belief that the right way, things will be all right. We're a good team. Believe that. Win one game. And I thought he did a great job along that line. So I'm very proud of what he's done.
Steve Fisher, great stuff. Thanks so much for coming on, as always. We love talking to you. Appreciate it.
Okay, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.